Well, folks, welcome back to another episode of Speed Street. We've had a weekend off, so that was very nice. Honestly, good to have a weekend off. Lots of things to discuss still, and honestly, we have a great interview for you this week with Graham Rahal. We haven't talked to Graham in a little while, but Graham and I sat down for honestly one of the most insightful, just a good, solid motor racing conversation about the business side, the team side, and how RLL has done this year and what they're looking like in the future. So I think you'll really enjoy it. I think any type of race fan will enjoy it, and maybe those that are learning new things. So we appreciate Graham for joining us. I'm obviously Connor Daly, driver the number 76 Juncos Hollinger Racing Chevrolet. We are racing at Milwaukee this weekend. Very, very excited for this one. My co-host Chase Holden is here, and we are excited to go oval racing once again in the ATT IndyCar series and talk about it on the Speed Street podcast. And again, be a friend, tell a friend about the show. Feel free to get them in on it, because it does seem like it's fun to talk racing, and we want to talk about it. So, Chase, I want to ask how your weekend off was. It was very strange to not have much racing on Sunday. I was away. I was in Canada at a friend's house on Saturday, so I didn't get to see Richmond, the NASCAR Cup race. But I heard it was a good race. But, yeah, strange that, no Formula One, obviously summer break, no IndyCar, no NASCAR on Sunday. It does seem like a wild weekend to have an off weekend for us. Seems like maybe we could have had something strong on this Sunday, but interesting.
No, absolutely. It's crazy what tire fall off can do for the NASCAR next gen cars. I'll say that. That was a good race on Saturday night. I enjoyed it. Shout out to AD3, Austin Dillon. He got it done. A lot of people are upset about it, but he still won a race, and that's what matters. So,
there you go.
Sunday, man, I was like full blown Ricky Bobby at that. They didn't know what to do with my hands. I put a post out, and I'm just like, Sundays without racing are hell. And they really are. And apparently a lot of people agree with that. So I'm glad to know I wasn't alone, but I touched a lot of grass and just kind of had a day outside, did some meditating. It was nice. I kind of needed that. So it's not bad to have a reset, I guess, but you could also be like me and be weird where you can meditate while watching a race. That is meditation, kind of. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I'm ready to be back. I'm excited for this one for sure. Weekend.
Yeah, this is a big one ahead of us. I was coming back from Canada on Sunday night and ran into Devlin DeFrancesco at the airport. He was also coming back from Canada. We were on two different flights. I did say hello. But there's also an update on well, I after we recorded the show last week, obviously, I gave a very in-depth thought process on the accident that took place in Portland, and have still got a ton of feedback on that, obviously. And there's been lots of, the majority does seem to share the same opinion, but there's been a lot of interesting debate and questions and comments, which has been fascinating to interact with. But, Christian Rasmussen, just to get right into it, Christian Rasmussen and I did sit down at a Java house even, gave them some business. I got some cold brew there. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I respect the game, respect the sport.
Yeah.
And actually I out of all this, it's actually great the Java house is involved in the sport. So as much as I have said about the, some of the leadership over there, maybe my feelings there, great the Java house is in the sport. But we sat down and this is obviously a private conversation. Like, we're just two dudes that are racing drivers who, are in complete disagreement, of course. And racing drivers, I don't know if people can, really understand. You have to be, you're always learning, but in certain situations, the one thing that I gained from the conversation was that, it was a fine conversation, but anything that I would have said online or did say online, like I would say to his face, and we're able to still have a conversation because, that's just how you do it. That's what life is like now. Nothing is out of the, everything's out there. So, anytime anyone says something, I saw all of his interviews, he saw all of my interviews and all that stuff. And so we see these things and we interact. This isn't, I'm not going to tell you every word of our conversation. We certainly disagree on things. I think I tried to go to a few more sources for information and like, hey, what did you guys think of this? I think that there's a few folks that, are pretty influential that I would say we're good to have conversations with. And again, there's an underlying aspect of like, hey, it just sucked overall. And I still feel exactly the same way about it because it's very obvious to me. Christian sent me his onboard video for both incidents, both turn 7 and turn 10, which I thought made my case even more just wide open. And those clips are, those have been sent to the stewards as well. The stewards requested both my onboard and his onboard just so they can get a better idea of what went on. And again, when I see it, I think it's, especially the turn 7 thing, was so obvious and on purpose. But again, that's our racing right now. As we both understood that. I said, look, man, I get it. Like, I get that that's what we got to do now because I do understand that. But that was super aggressive. If your intention was to just put me in the grass 2 wheels off, okay, I understand that. But, to fire me as far off as we got, that was tough. But again, I don't want to talk about this too much more because there's plenty of positive things to talk about in motor racing. But just know that the onboard clips are being looked at by the stewards because I think that paints a much clearer picture. And I still feel exactly the same way about it, as I think a lot a lot of people do.
So there's pending action. Now.
They're not pending action, but it's like there's nothing that's going to be handed down. But the stewards want to get a clearer picture of like, hey, if something happens like this in the future, what does it look like? How do we analyze the mindset of both? What actually did happen from behind the wheel? You know what I mean? Because all they were able to judge off of was the far out helicopter shot, which again, I thought was pretty obvious once again, like tight racing. And I got hit very, very late in the corner, left rear corner.
Okay. So that's the main thing. Because I know that we've seen IndyCar, like, especially I think about the Joseph with St. Pete thing. It's like 4 months go by and then it's like, oh, we overturned that. We changed it now. So just wanted to know for sure. And like that we shouldn't really expect some kind of a penalty or some kind of official word coming out about this specific incident.
Oh, I mean, to be honest, I don't know that. I highly doubt it. I don't think that that's ever going to happen. But there's certainly been more information discovered where it's like, oh, all right, well, this might need to be looked at a little bit more. So, Graham Rahal gives us his take on it as well. And again, it's just, it's still a brutal thing to have to, analyze and look at. But after this, I wanted to let people know that we talked, and, I am still not a fan of what went on. And obviously there's only one person who paid the price for it, which is me. So, he obviously has nothing, he's like, oh yeah, whatever. So what goes around might come around. I don't know. Maybe, and
that's always
be me.
True.
It won't be me because I plan on, continually racing with respect. Aside from the one moment where I did drive into the side of him in turn 2. Hey, that we already talked about that.
Human being
drove in there and fed him a door, even though we don't have doors. And nothing happened. So that was that. But on ovals, it's a completely different world. So I'm excited to just move on. I can't wait to move on. I'm sick of this crap. I'm tired of reading. I'm just tired of reading everything and seeing anything. And I'm just ready to get to Milwaukee. That's what it's all about. And we have a great race coming up.
Motorsport social media has kind of been like it's been in a bad place. I feel like for the last couple weeks, something's
a lot going on.
Yeah,
a lot going on. We have two very, very exciting races that are coming up. We're going to give you some picks for the Milwaukee race, who we think could be the ideal podium finishers. Obviously, one race this year instead of two. It's 2 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Guess what? Still the same place. We're going to watch it on Fox. Very, very excited about it. We also saw this week, which we will talk briefly about, but it is a fairly large, announcement. And again, there was a lot of discourse on the internet about the fastest seat in sports for Nashville. The Nashville race is going to be Dave Portnoy, who's obviously the founder of Barstool Sports. They have under their umbrella the largest sports podcast in the world, which again, sports. I love sports. I listen to Pardon My Take every week. That's my favorite podcast. So guilty as charged. But I love football and I love sports. I love all sports. So Barstool has a deal with Fox. There's an integration there. Fox and the combination of all of this for us as a series, I think is great integration. I mean, there was a lot of people that disagreed, but again, it's hard to argue with a sport, which we are trying to work with. I would say the group that has the like one of the biggest sports podcasts, if not the biggest sports podcast in the world. So
they kind of are sports in a way, Now again, a lot of people get it.
I completely respect everyone's thoughts on it. That's totally allowed, but we're just giving you. I just want to give you the side of like, hey, this. We obviously hope that this turns into some more viewers, maybe some folks that haven't watched IndyCar before. Maybe that's helpful. I don't know. Obviously, I think feel free to discourse about it. That's cool. Again, freedom to do that, but hard to argue with that level of sports. I guess extended sport reach, export reach. Yeah.
Reach, whatever you call it. I think that, there's a lot that you can look at. Like I found out during the press release, reading it, that Fox had a deal with Barstool. I was unaware of that until I read that. So I know that they're going to be doing some stuff with college football. And that immediately took me to like, oh, it's kind of like how ESPN is doing with Pat McAfee. And so you've seen how much that has helped ratings with ESPN. A lot of the millennial generation kind of like finding their groove on network television. Our dads grew up watching SportsCenter. It's just how it went. It was always on the TV. So as time goes on, the internet gets big. They pull Pat. Fox doing the same thing with Barstool is going to be huge. And because Fox is in with IndyCar now, that's going to bleed over. That's millions and millions of views that are really and honestly going to help this whole thing that we've been talking about now for 2 years. Like we're taking IndyCar to new heights. That means some things change.
Not the Kelsey podcast, but I did watch that. New Heights.
Oh, I don't even listen to that show, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's also a podcast. Yeah.
I get
hand up. Look, we go to a completely different road here. I listened to the New Heights podcast with Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, and Taylor Swift. They had Taylor Swift on. I'm not sure if you saw that, Chase.
Oh, I did not.
It was a fantastic episode. Travis Kelce is an IndyCar fan, so we're going to say that Taylor Swift is also an IndyCar fan. So shout out the Swifties for, you guys are essentially also IndyCar fans. We love to have you guys in the fold because Travis loves the Indy 500. He's I like Travis. Fascinating interview, I thought. So shout out the New Heights podcast.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm a big Jason Kelce guy. I'll never forget him as a genie.
Yes,
in Philadelphia. That was the all-time. That's inspiration, honestly, in my opinion. So
it was a great conversation. I listened to it all the way to Road America last week. I was testing the BMW GT3 car up there. But yeah, fascinating conversation. Side tangent. But yeah, that was speaking of podcasts.
Yeah, but that's it. That's it. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's like, this is new media. These are things that we have discussed with IndyCar that we've all said at some point in time, like, IndyCar's got to do something different. They got to do something. Well, they're doing that now. Let it ride. Let it ride.
Yeah.
This is what we asked for, and they're doing what they can, and they're doing it bigger than they've ever done it, which is incredible.
We hope so. We will see how it goes. I can't wait for these next 2 weeks. We're obviously really pumped about that. Last week, I was in the BMW GT3 car, Road America, just for a quick little test. I'm obviously doing the 8-hour race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in October. So that was a little late week update for me. And yeah, I had a great weekend off up in Canada, up west of Toronto. Love spending a little bit of time up there. I was up there at a friend of mine. He's a musical genius, Dead Mouse. He has like an annual summer party, usually in August, and that means that I'm usually at a racetrack. And I haven't been able to go for like the last 5 or 6 years, and this one happened to fall on an off weekend. So
that's exciting.
I was able to go up there and see a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a long time, meet a lot of new people, see a lot of cool cars, and just have a great time and listen to some absolute fire music. So it was great. Really like those guys, that group up there. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, and then just stayed one night and then came back to Indiana because I had to get to the gym on Monday, and we got to start getting ready for the Milwaukee Mile, which is going to be awesome. The weather looks great. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that continues to be great. Same package for this year. So obviously the race was fantastic last year. We saw that. The series did a fantastic job with both the downforce and the tire. Shout out Firestone. So it's going to be, hopefully very, very similar vibe and pace and event as last year. But it's also going to be, a whole new engineering exercise. As we listened to Will Power say last week, he said they showed up with their same setup at Portland from the year before. That was, race winning. It was terrible in FP1. So we still need to be on the lookout for that. Some of the cars that were fast last year might need to fine tune it a little bit. We spent a whole day on the simulator at Milwaukee, getting into a few things, trying to improve our package, and we believe we have. So, that first practice session is super important for us to try to fine tune the car, get it into an even better window, because I would much rather start in the front than where I did last year, which was like 25th or last or something like that. So it did look cool passing all those cars, but I actually don't want to have to do that. I would like to start much closer to the front. So that will be, that will be a big one. That FP1 is super important. And what's crazy about Saturday too, I don't know if anyone noticed, but our practice starts at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. on Saturday. Our install lap is at 7:50 in the morning, which is crazy. I don't know, honestly, because they're trying to get everything done on Saturday. You got the practice, qualify, and practice. But that one's that's a tough one. So we're gonna be up very early and doing a lot during that day.
I feel for engineers, man, trying to match weather, dude. I feel for them so bad.
Oh yeah,
it's like I've had so many conversations now with guys, and they're just like, I don't really know what we're gonna do with this data. Like, going to run.
Yeah, it's tough, man. We're gonna have to adjust for it. We're gonna have to live life on the edge all day long, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. They're gonna do a low line session again, like they did last year. So instead of the high line, since the high line is sort of ideal at Milwaukee, they're gonna have us run low for a session, and make sure that we can get the grip, the grip widened out a little bit. We'll get the line a little bit rubbered in, which I think will be, super important. So Chase, I don't know. You want to just give some picks? Should we rip right into some picks for the Milwaukee Mile? Because we've been terrible at our picks recently.
We have. It's very kind of bad. Like a common theme, though. Like it's like,
but
that
it's
we're
fun
the guys.
To be bad sometimes. That's why I'm not a good sports gambler. Like I'm not good at gambling on football. You know what I mean?
Definitely not home runs. I'll tell you that.
Definitely not home runs. Absolutely not.
All right. So if we look at last year, race 1, we had Pato, Will Power, and yourself on the podium. Race 2, we had Scotty Mack, Scott Dixon, and Colton Herta. So that's just a recap of the podiums that we had. Looking at this race, we know we want to look at oval specialists. Obviously, you were one of those. Connor, who is your first pick on the podium this week?
I'm going to go with myself.
Okay.
I'm feeling really good. I want to win this race, and I think we have a great car. So we have to be mistake-free. Everything has to go perfectly, and you have to maybe get a little lucky, which we have not a lot this year, but I believe we can do it. I believe in this team, and we need it. We need it bad.
Amen. I don't think you can win this race. I know you can win this race.
There you go.
There's extra confidence. You are also going to be my first podium pick. I think that was the no-brainer. I wanted to get that one out of the way. We knew what was going on. Who else do you like? Who do you want to be up there with, since we only have one race this time around?
It's almost really hard to ignore Pato again. I feel like, he's done such a good job on the ovals this year, and he's still fighting for a lot. And Alex Palou is trying to go for 10 wins this year. He's trying to go to a wild number of wins, which we obviously cannot have happen. But I at some point, Joseph Newgarden is going to end up on a podium, and it has to be Joseph this weekend. I just feel like it has to be Joseph. I know that he has had one of the most monumentally horrific seasons, a lot of it through no fault of his own, if not most of it. And so at some point, you got to think that maybe it turns around. And I would love to be on the podium with Joseph Newgarden. He's a good friend, longtime friend. It would be a funny photo because we started from the bottom and now we're here, and he's much higher than me.
Well, I will say that I definitely think that podium can happen, and I hope to see that in Nashville, because I think it would be cool to see Joseph get a podium in his hometown. That would be great.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with his teammate. I'm going to kind of wash, rinse, repeat. I'm going to go with Will Power here.
All right.
Mainly because, like what we talked about, there wasn't much different. They had to make some tweaks or whatever. They just kind of loaded off using the same stuff as last year. We're getting down to the last 2 races. We talked to him last week. He went into his whole thing about how he's not really sure what's going on. Typically, in my mind, that puts a driver in a place where I got to show up and show out. And I want to make sure people know what I'm capable of as I'm going. So I will go with William Power on the pole, or on the podium for this one with you as my second pick.
I respect that. It's really hard to put a final pick on this board. I see an argument for multiple drivers. I see an argument. I don't see an argument for Alex Palou. I don't know if he was very fast last year. He wasn't really super spectacular.
Fifth in race one.
But again, for Alex Palou standards, that's not very spectacular. And I remember being around him in the race last year. But I see an argument again for Scotty Mack. I mean, Scotty Mack has also had a treacherous year for, a lot of non-fault of his own. But it just feels like this year it's not Penske's year. So I'm not, as much as I want to take Will Power, I'm going to go, oh man, I was going to go Colton Herta. And I still am. I'm going to go with Colton Herta.
All right. That's the third place finisher in race 2 of last year. So this isn't a bad pool to pick from. This is the pool that I'm kind of picking from, and I'm dipping out into 2. So
that's a risky pick. Now, let me say it's a risky pick, but
let's talk about that.
It could be. Yeah.
No, I'll say, it's just Andretti. We've seen Kirkwood pop up and win at Worldwide, but that was more of a strategy thing, and there was some other circumstances that happened there. I don't really know if we got a couple of fuel window a little bit tighter. It probably was froze race. So I don't know if I'm ready to go Andretti at this point. It's weird for me to say this, but I almost feel like I like Penske more than Andretti at the ovals for these last 2 races. We've seen Colton do what he did at Nashville, and we'll talk about that next week. But I'm going to go with a driver that you're very familiar with, a driver that Dale Earnhardt Jr. wants you to be best friends with.
Oh, wow.
His name is Santino Ferrucci. And I can't ignore this, dude. He finished 4th in both races last year. Okay. He finished 4th in both races. he was, he's trying to basically, he sprint cars in an IndyCar sometimes, and it can be a little dangerous up there, but he's decent at top. He's decent at ripping top. And for him to just be that consistent in these two races, I feel like he's either going to be right back where he was, or he might creep into that third position. So
it's entirely
I'm just going to
possible. Although he's been on a tough run mentally, and
he has.
Yeah, it's been a tough one.
Yeah, so I just feel like I couldn't ignore that. Couldn't ignore the numbers on that one this weekend. The stats look decent there. And
no, it's a good pick.
I think we're gonna. I don't know. I feel good. I feel like between the two of us, we will correctly guess this podium.
I hope so. I really do. I can't wait. Obviously, please, if you're there, come by. Guess what? I will have more Speed Street stickers. I finally got some new ones. I've been out for the entire season almost because you guys pillaged the sticker cabinet in my in the trailer, but I should have more Speed Street stickers. So I would love to hand those out to the loyal listeners. We have a very loyal listenership, viewership on the YouTubes, the Spotifys, the Apples, wherever you're listening. We appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun to do this show. So we want to keep it rolling. We want to make sure you get stickers if you can get some. So,
and merch.
One thing I wanted to mention before getting to Graham Rahal, I love seeing F1 summer break photos. This is a totally random, just, I guess, banter into the wilderness.
Yeah. I like that.
But my favorite part is like who's on the biggest yacht. And all the F1 drivers are on a yacht during the summer break. Lando Norris went to like the Gaming World Championships. He's a big esports guy, big nerd. But he was also in Ibiza at one point with Martin Garrix. I love F1 summer break photos. It's an amazing lifestyle that all those guys are living. I respect it. And it's just so fun to see, like, all the photos are almost the same, just in different areas of the ocean. And I love it. I think it's just great. And they all have dogs. They're lovely water machines, whether it's a board or a jet ski or a boat. It's just fascinating. I'm enjoying seeing how the upper echelon of humans live. And
it sounds like they have a Spirit Halloween costume kit coming up. You know the meme where it's like, since they're all doing the same thing, like you can just take those things and make that the F1 driver summer break Spirit Halloween costume.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I think it's being tan and being very well set up on a giant boat. And I respect that. I respect that a lot.
Norris.
I love the summer break vibe too. I love that, like, literally no one in F1 can work. Like they mandatorily shut everything down. And so everyone's just got to go do something, go on vacation. And I love that idea. For us, that's pretty much from September on, but everyone still has to work, or you can work, or there's no mandatory shutdown. And I like the idea. I do.
Yeah, one thing I do know, like, there may be 2 breaks coming up, because Lewis Hamilton came out and said when GTA 6 drops, he's going to not work for like a whole week.
Is that right?
I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did not see that.
It's cool to see Lewis Hamilton, big Grand Theft Auto guy.
A lot of people will be.
One of us.
Yeah, a lot of people will be. All right, well, I think overall, there's only a few news nuggets to get to. Marcus Armstrong has been renewed his contract in 2026 with Meyershank, Ganassi, that partnership there. I actually didn't know that they weren't in a multi-year deal already. I thought I didn't know that was something that needed to be renewed. So congrats to Marcus, obviously very, very deserving there, completely deserving. The silly season will fully kick off in the day after Nashville. So a lot will be happening. The rumor mills are flying around. There was one rumor that it did include myself that I would like to let people know is not real. There's an account on the internet that people... I seriously don't know how people continue to fall for this stuff. I really don't. But the Daily Downfords is not a real website. It's not a real place. It's a parody account. And every day, I don't even follow them, but I've clicked on enough of their tweets that it now just comes up all the time. And So, and then as of course, journalism, as someone sees that, they basically just copy and paste the tweet and put it out on their own account, which is not then identified as a parody account. So then you got my manager freaking out. You got all kinds of people going crazy. You got Ricardo call me saying like, hey, we have no idea what the heck this is. It's not real. So you can go find it if you want. But these parody accounts, honestly, they are funny sometimes, but this is actually causing a lot of inner chaos on a day. We don't need that. I mean, I respect that you guys think it's funny, but it's our lives that you're being funny about. So
that's Downford, dude.
I'm not a fan of the Downford anymore. I'm not a fan of it. So sorry. I mean, I respect what you guys are trying to do there, being funny, but a lot of it messes with people's actual lives. So that's what I have to say about it.
IndyCar,
and you know what? If that somehow happens in 2026, you can play this clip back and be like, you got me. You got me. So
no, I don't think. I think that everybody in the IndyCar fan base is new to the Daily Downford.
I know.
And we figured that out now. If you're in the NASCAR world, you know Downford. You know.
If you read something crazy, just look where it came from. And if all you got to do, it takes 20 more seconds. It's like the fake AI Facebook pages. We're fighting a war on what's real and what's not. And maybe at some point we'll be living in a completely false reality and everything's not real and it's all a simulation. I don't know. But right now we can definitely tell what accounts are real and what accounts are not if you just look a little bit deeper. So there it is. That's what we got. I had to put some out there about the news nuggets because there is no news nugget regarding us. Right. We are working on it. Very excited about next week because we have a partnership for the Nashville race that I am very excited about.
Ooh.
And I'm just going to just do sprinkle a little teaser dust. It's going to be sick. So that will be, hopefully we can put that out into the world next week after Milwaukee when we're celebrating a victory and get ready for Nashville because very, very excited about that one.
Can you tell us what color the car will be?
Nope. I will not. Can't tell anything. We're going to keep it a secret. So yeah, anything else, Chase, you think, or should we get to Graham Rahal?
I am ready to hear the Graham Rahal interview because I was not there, unfortunately. Yeah. So let's get to Graham
Fighting
Rahal.
the internet. All right, folks. Well, let's get to our interview with Graham Rahal, the Rahal Letterman Lanigan racing driver, the business owner, and American driver. Well, folks, this week we've got another great story with us. A man who had a great race at Portland, which it seemed like we were on the right strategy for a very short amount of time. But Graham Rahal made it happen. He made it work. Fourth place finish. Really, really great day on what's been, I would say, let's say challenging year for the group that you guys have over there. But Graham, we appreciate you coming by. Great race for you guys. I mean, was that just something that was necessary for the whole squad in general?
Yeah, man. Well, first, thanks for having me. It was necessary. We need the other two to have similar results here to finish the year off. It's important that really, you know what this is about, right? CD, it's all about leader circle at this stage, for those cars. And so, our goal is to try to get Luisio, as his Italian engineer calls him, and Dev to have a couple of good finishes here to finish the year off. But, on our car, I mean, yeah, it was needed because, like, dude, we've been fast at so many places and just always somehow miss, whether Road America going on to a crazy fuel saving strategy while running more downforce than everybody else. Our whole play, with the downforce level was to go. And yet we ended up doing a fuel save. It's just a dagger for us. So, there obviously at Detroit running in the top 2. I mean, I think legitimately going to finish in the top 5 probably. And, have a wheel nut issue where the wheel wouldn't seat onto the pins correctly. And so the nut would feel tight. But the minute the car would move, then the wheel would wobble in. That's an error that we found. So, man, I don't know. It was just nice to have a normal day. I got to be honest with you. Like, just have a normal day, and everything came together. So it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's been a wild year for a lot of people, I would say. Like there's just, it seems to be like there's just weird stuff happening. And at the end of the day, there is still one person that's had no weird stuff happen. It's completely dominated the championship.
Yeah.
But, you look at, there's, Joseph Newgard and I are fighting for 18th in the championship, and we're all at the same level, which is so broken. It's just very strange. But why do you think that is? You think it's just one of those times where, hey, this sport is just crazy at times and everyone's gone through it this year specifically?
I do. I think the sport is completely unpredictable now, except for one guy. Everybody else, like everybody's like, oh, Penske's having a terrible year. No, they're just like the rest of us. They're just like everybody else now. That's the difference is, they're used to being Alex Palou. And, outside of Willie P, really Penske, Scotty Mack, who we're both extremely close to. And I rate Scotty Mack as probably top 3 most talented dudes I've ever raced against. He struggled, right? And it's just not, it hasn't been as easy as they're used to. But yeah, outside of Palou, I think it's completely unpredictable in what can happen. Even Pato, one race he's winning or 2 races he's winning, and then, has a DNF or an issue, kind of like the rest of us have had. So, that's it's an interesting championship for sure. I think it is hard to fathom seeing some of the guys that are back there in points right now, all of us battling together like we are. But I think it also is a tip of the cap a little bit just how competitive it's become. It's not easy anymore to be top 5, top 10 in the championship. I used to finish in the top 10 in the championship every year, top 5 a couple of times with errors, right? Like without being consistent. Now, if you're not consistent, there's no hope. You're not going to be there. And so the level has just elevated. Of course, yeah, man, like we all see it, right? We race Palou week in, week out. The guy's phenomenal. His racecraft's phenomenal. The team's phenomenal. And that damn car is phenomenal. It's everywhere we go. It's like, oh man, him again, just right. Anytime you race him head to head, man, it's very, very hard. And, so we just, I think it's the championship is wildly unpredictable at this stage outside of one dude. And, next year, who knows what's going to happen, but, it's hard to believe or see that Ganassi is going to really take a big step backwards, when not a lot's going to change. So we all got to step up the game and try to catch him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk about you guys specifically. A lot of great qualifying results for sure. And then, we've seen obviously Louis Foster on pole. We've seen you in the Fast Six, I would say. It seems like almost every weekend when we're at a street course or a road course. Now, again, that's probably not factually correct, but a lot of Fast Sixes, it seems like.
Yeah, no, a lot this year. Yeah.
Yeah. But Portland was I would say, I was surprised by what happened to you guys in Portland. Was there something that you guys saw there that was different to last year? Was there a little bit of a challenge more this year?
Man, dude, I was so off all weekend. I was so disconnected. Loose, massively loose, then big freaking understeer level. And then, where the RLL car struggles, it's just a known, we've seen it, is curb usage. So like trying to put power down out of 7, you can't touch the curb in an RLL car. If you do, the rear, whereas in the race, I'm watching everybody just drive over it, so it just exaggerated a lot of our problems, man. And when you miss qualifying, remember I qualified 22nd, but I want to say 5 of us were at the same 10th of a second.
Yeah.
Literally same 10th. So it's not like you're that far off. It's just, again, exaggerated by how competitive it is. Having said all that, we were not good, and even on race day, I know on actually average pace over the whole race, we were P1. But to be honest, like I was still so loose, dude. I was just dying. Whereas I haven't had that on most of the road and street courses yet, to that level. And so that's why I think in qualifying, people saw us just I was a bit weaker. I actually thought Portland, the quickest car we had was Devlin, honestly.
Wow.
He was quick. I think he just didn't quite get it done in qualifying, hurt him a little bit. And then the race had a couple penalties or whatever. But Dev was pretty damn fast at Portland. And so, but all of our setups were pretty close, which is good. Nobody's deviating. Nobody's going crazy. But it's kind of weird for me, of all people, to say this, but our qualifying days have been our strength this year. And our race days have kind of been a weakness, which is, opposite of typical us. But like I said, it's at least nice to be able to qualify and be in a hunt again, because for years it seemed like we were never there. And so all of a sudden, now we feel a lot better on those Saturdays.
You did have a front row seat as well to my first issue of Contact. I was just curious as your thoughts on that one. I won't ask you about the other one, but you did have the closest seat to the first beginning of a difficult next few laps.
First off, hey brother, I'm just happy you're okay. That video of your crash, ouch.
It was not fun.
Like, just an awful angle to hit. Man, look, I actually told Rasmussen earlier this year, I did. I went up to him. I was like, hey, brother, great job. Like, you've been a lot better, maturity wise than you were last year. I mean, last year,
I agree.
On the restart at Milwaukee, and drilled me. I mean, I don't know what was going on. I mean, we were on 70 lap old tires. I don't know why we were in that position, but we were. Anyway, but the reality is, still, man, you gotta, some of these young kids, and I'm not pointing at him, I'm saying in general.
Yeah.
I was talking about this recently, so much speed, but racecraft truly has kind of gone out the window for most of these guys. And if you think about from a team owner's perspective, what the team owner is going to look at to differentiate these young guys is not are they fast or not, because pretty much all of them are fast. But what do you do on Sundays? Are you tearing up my car a lot or are you not? Are you putting yourself in a bad position a lot or are you not? And that's, the one thing I would say in that instance, you watch it. I don't care what anybody wants to say. You were pretty damn far in front of him. If that was me, we would have never made contact, because you realize, where's this going to go? Nowhere good. Okay. Just bail out, live to fight the next corner. But like I said, I mean, these young kids are aggressive. And I was telling, who was I telling about this today? I remember my rookie year. Anytime I would get aggressive, I remember Tony Kanaan, and I love that guy. He chopped me so bad at Kansas on purpose, just to scare the living out of me and teach me a lesson. I never did it again. It was all right, I got it. I got the message. But nowadays, nobody does that. It's culturally, it's different than when I kind of came up and you had TK and Dario and, all that sort of stuff. Do you
think the standards are at a different... I asked Will Power about this last week, and he thinks, no, it's pretty normal, but I would say, depending on where you're at, obviously the stewards are letting us race, right? There's a lot of, and again, I'm okay with that, I guess, obviously to a certain extent, but yeah, I'm just curious as to see what you've thought with the racing conditions this year.
I think the standards have gotten worse. That's my opinion. Yeah, and I think Novak, he's in a bad spot, man.
Yeah, it's a tough job.
Oh, tough job.
Yep.
You're trying to judge all this stuff. And the one thing I would say is, on a consistency level, I think Novak does a pretty solid job. I mean, as best as he possibly can. I mean, obviously there's Ari and Max in there and others as well, but that's a tough job. But I think to me though, guys that have a pattern of an issue, the penalties should be far greater, period. And I don't necessarily see that happening. But I definitely think the standard has changed. But I also think that the aggression has completely changed because, dude, we all can say it. These cars are way more durable than they used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, in our dad's era, if you bumped wheels at all, the thing was going to be bent. Now, dude, you can hit a wall hard sometimes. And it's fine, let alone hitting somebody else or, I mean, whoever at the chicane in there was like a big checkup. Louis got spun. Whatever happened there, that's when you passed me. You went around the outside of me.
Yeah.
Dude, whoever I hit in front of me, I mean, I crushed them because it all just stopped.
And
same with Rosenquist. Rosenquist in Toronto drilled me, like absolutely crushed under yellow. Didn't see that we were all stopped, and he just. Same thing. The car was okay. Like they're just, it's a lot more durable. So everybody knows that now. And you just, becomes a little bit of bumper car, which is almost the opposite of NASCAR, right? NASCAR was that way. Now those things are more fragile and those guys are touching each other. They're having toe links bent and different things happen. So it's kind of funny the way it's like the role reversal that's happened here.
Yeah, it's wild. No, I was just very curious as to what you thought. Cause like, it's good to know. I would say just a general opinion on what's gone on this year, because I think we saw such a calm first like 4 races and there wasn't really much going on. And then you got to Indy. I would say Indy was pretty aggressive. And then from then on, I mean, it's been like it just seems like there's been a shift. And I was just curious. I think it's up to us, really.
I think the aggression is on a different level. But that's kind of leads back to what I said a second ago. That I think the driving skill at this time, the drivers are faster than when I came. Honestly, than when I came up. Like I felt like when I came up, it was about speed, but like racecraft was really, really important. And I feel like that's almost been a role reversal. Like we watch young kids like, oh, he is fast.
Yeah.
Okay. He makes a lot of mistakes, but he is fast. So let's get him here. Whereas in my time, it was like Pagano, me, Hinch, Rafa Matos, like Robbie Pecorari, who I had a lot of respect for. I thought Robbie was one of the best. Like a lot, just high level racecraft, Wickens, like high level, sort of Sunday racecraft guys. I do think it's changed, but I think it's changed in Formula One too. Now it's like those guys in F1, the risks that they take are wild because that's just the way that they're trained to think and trained to do. And that does benefit them on a lot of times on Saturdays, but on Sundays, they struggle a little bit more. And I think in general, like globally, that's kind of what we're seeing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree for sure. It's without a doubt. Now I've been around now for a long time now too, but it's without a doubt so competitive and so close. And again, we've had this car that you can literally run up against the wall and run up against other people, and it's completely fine. And I was blown away. Yeah. But I want to talk about the business of our sport now too, because you're a smart businessman. Look, I mean, you're a very fast race car driver, but outside the track, I mean, you're out here hustling, you're wheeling and dealing cars, bikes, all kinds of things. And we now see, and honestly, I assume at some point, far into the future, you're going to be a part of this Rahal Letterman Lanigan racing team probably for a very long time. So when you see this Fox purchase of a certain portion of Penske Entertainment, on the business side, what does that tell us? What does that tell you?
Well, what it tells me and what I like is I thought the timing flat out couldn't have been better. I mean, I'm all for Roger. I'm all for Penske Entertainment. I think they brought a level of stability to the sport. But I'll just flat out say it. I'm not all for their marketing tactics. I don't think anybody is. Maybe I say it and others won't. But I don't think anybody is for their marketing tactics. And the one good thing about what we've seen with Fox this year, well, it's not great CD. Like we know, like our base is in the upper 100,000s, right? 700, 750, 800,000 on a bad weekend. Now, let's keep in mind, people are like, oh, well, that number should be million. We all agree with that. But let's keep in mind that on NBC, we would get your million race, but you'd get your 200,000 race too. We have not had that. So we know where our base is now. We know where the consistency is. But dude, to take it to the next level, I'm sorry, but we needed somebody else to come in to help push the needle of the sport, to help push drivers, to help, to help take this thing to that next step. And I think what Fox, I mean, dude, Eric Shanks is awesome. Like, he's an Indiana boy. He loves this stuff. And their investment, you and I know, dude, and your stepdad is going to know better than anybody else. Like their investment, I mean, look what they did with their energy this year at the Indy 500. Whole different notch, right? Not only
Huge.
TV rating, but everybody there, so on and so forth. Like, I mean, their investment, they're not going to, this isn't play money. This is real money. This is guys that want this thing to be a great return on their investment. They're going to push and push and push. And by God, we need that. And so, you know, I'm pumped, man. Like I'm not going to say his name, but the day before this announcement, I was talking to a longtime marketing executive, a guy who did a lot of Red Bull's early campaigns and things. And he and I were talking about the sport, you know, and I'm venting to him and he's venting to me because he's not involved in the sport at all, but loves it, right? Loves the purity of IndyCar, so on and so forth. And we're going back and forth. And he just, you know, we both agreed. We're like, look, flat out, you know, the marketing's not where it needs to be. And unless they get marketing going, I mean, where are we headed? Flat out, where are we headed? The next day the announcement comes out. The first thing I do is get a text from him and said, well, that timing could have been better,
Yeah.
you know, and that's how we all feel. Like, it's like, you know, something needs a little kick in the ass here. And that's what I think we're going to get. And then, as you said, to me, it's very important. I mean, forget about me as a driver, which I know many people would like to forget about me as a driver.
Same,
based on twatter and everything everyone wants to tell me all the time.
Welcome to the club. Yeah.
But the reality, like, oh, you can't drive a nail. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I've been in the Fast Six the last 3 races. So what the fuck you got to say about that? Anyway,
They never respond to that.
No, they don't. They got nothing to say.
Yeah.
But the reality is that, like, you know, someday, it's not now, but someday I'm going to be thrust into this position of taking RLL on. And what I look at is the investment. Like, dude, you've seen our shop.
Of
right?
course, yeah.
You've seen the millions
Beautiful.
of dollars that we've spent on equipment, that we've spent on staff. We owe it to our staff to make sure those guys and gals are employed and they're cared for and it's a great environment, all these things. Dude, when you see the marketing the way it's been, deep down, you're like, what else can we do? You know, what do I turn this building into? Like, how do I take this to the next level? Because it's designed, you know, for what we are currently doing. And I will say, for me, on a personal level, it gave me a shot in the arm with this Fox thing. Is I thought, okay, here we go. Here's our chance. Like, dude, Formula One was absolutely in the shitter. We all know that. Okay. They got lucky with their timing of Drive to Survive and COVID. Couldn't have been better. But God bless them. Why did that happen? Is because of Liberty Media.
Yep.
We needed a Liberty Media shot in the arm. I mean, that's what's needed. And I hope Fox can be that. I do.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's an exciting. I mentioned in this show not too long ago, I think it's actually the most important IndyCar offseason probably in the last 10 to 15 years, because we established this kind of base of, like you mentioned, when we saw the NBC races, we had, you know, our core viewership was like 300,000. That's when, like, on the tough weekends or whatever, you got those 300,000. Now we're kind of, it's like, all right, now we're up, you know, several 100,000, and you still are up on the season. So that's good. But now, how do you then take this slight bump in excitement and a great Indy 500 rating and supercharge it into, now I want to double everything next year? You know what I mean? How do we
I think we've seen too, this is, you know, on Fox and others, we saw all this promotion up to the 500.
Yes.
And then stopped. The other thing is, you can't put your eggs in 2 baskets. I mean, Pato, star. Pato connects with the fans on a level no other driver does.
Oh yeah.
You know, he you know, he's kind of got this like Mr. Good Guy vibe, but also Mr. Playboy vibe. There's a little bit of both. Pato's the man. He's huge. But like, I think what they've learned this year with Joseph is, like, you can't put all your eggs, you know, into that basket, because you may have a guy that has a bad year. It struggles. I'm not saying he's irrelevant, because Joseph Newgarden's never going to be irrelevant.
Yeah.
But they need to diversify against 10 guys, 12 guys. They need to build more names. They need to have more ads. They need to be doing this stuff. And so to me, I think that's the biggest thing that maybe Fox needs to learn as you go forward is like, hey, okay, cool. Indy 500's in May. But guess what? Detroit's the next week. And guess what? Like, here's your opportunity to build on that each and every weekend. And I tell people all the time, I told Doug this 100 times, bro, it rings in my brain. Jim Nantz on CBS, the Masters coming in April on CBS. You can't not hear it. Like, you can't not think it. And by the way, it's a still image with the leaves just moving. What I told, like Brian Simpson and I were talking, since, you know, we've got our digital media company, Stillhouse. Like, we're sitting there talking like, dude, let's just make an ad to give to Doug. That's just a voiceover in a photo of the stands packed and a jet flying over like at the start of the anthem and all, like just 30 seconds of that imagery. It makes your hair stand up thinking about it. And just a voice. And that thing is cheap to produce, and it could play from now until next May. Every NFL game, every whatever, you know, Indy 500. But then you got to build on that for all the others. And that's the one thing I'd say Fox can learn from this year. Is just, hey, those Tom Brady ads, cool. You know, Pato doing,
Sweet.
you know, beating up his Cobra. Awesome. But like, we need more. We need more of those. And then they need to continue after. And I have no doubt with their investment, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's got to happen.
And as we talk about promotion, though, as well, I think there also needs to be a similar type of super injection into some of the local promotion too, because obviously we see some events that are household names, right? You got St. Pete, Long Beach, Indy. We're not worried about crowds there. Those do great. We love the fans that show up there. But there are some races, and you know what's really interesting? You're a golf guy. Live Golf was in Indianapolis over the weekend, right? And I couldn't go to any restaurant or any place. I mean, I was ordering food from a delivery service cluster truck. I was getting a Live Golf flyer. Like they put like a little Westfield city sign that said home of Live Golf like this weekend. I'm like, man, the promotion and the way that
and
was
by the
run.
way, those guys were jacked, dude. A couple of the players I know, you know, just from car stuff, to be honest with you, they were like, dude, this city is awesome. Like, everybody, it's the biggest crowd I think they've had in North America. Like, those guys were over the moon about it. But you're damn right, man. I went to Toronto
but they made it look
year.
cool too. Like the stand. Everyone that went was like, "This is sweet." I mean, it is still golf. Like golf is, you know, hey, there's some calmness to it. There's some peace, you know. But like, we got race cars, dude. Like there's got to be something, you know, somewhat. Even I was talking with Alex Pillow about it this morning. He's like, why don't we have like a giant sports gambling and like drinking deck in Turn 3 at Road America, like a big VIP lounge where like you can get special tickets and. I don't know. There's just something to that I feel like we get integrate.
I totally agree. I think what it comes down to, and I know I'm going to get some messages about this comment, but it comes down to the promoters too. And what I think needs to happen, there has to be a standard set for promoters. I'm sorry. I get it costs money. Every time a national anthem happens, there's no flyover. I'm disappointed.
Yep, I agree.
I can't imagine what the fans think, but that never was the standard. It never was the standard. I mean, there has to be a level of commitment. Like, dude, I go to Toronto. Been there since 1986.
Yep.
Bob Rahal, winner of the first Toronto Molson Indy. Dude, I go to this great steakhouse. They're like, oh, the race is in town? We were wondering why it got busier. What? Like, what do you mean you're wondering why it got busier? Like, dude, we've been here since 1986. Like,
I know.
How do you not know? Right? Like, you know, there's got to be a standard set for the promoters too. And that's that's the one thing to me that, you know, that's got to be sort of handled appropriately because, like Iowa
Yeah.
and Penske did Iowa, but I'm saying like Iowa, nobody in town knew, dude. Nobody. And I mean, you go from Hy-Vee where you couldn't be in Iowa and people didn't know to like nothing.
I know.
I mean, not
and it was
cool.
a good race. Like
Yeah,
we know that it was a
was
bad
actually.
race. We know that it was a bad race the year before, which again, all the haters, love to say that it's terrible. It's going to be terrible. It was a good race. Like I don't think you can
and you know
discount.
what? It would be better next year.
Yes,
Because the track's starting to age again.
Yeah.
Which is when the racing gets good.
Yes.
So, I don't know, man. But the other thing is like we just got to go to some great events. And I know that costs money and takes effort, takes time, it takes all these things. But like, bro, I'm so pumped for Arlington, and every one of our sponsors is jacked. Wex and United Rentals, Fifth, like everybody can't wait for Arlington. But we need like 5 more of those. Like, why can't we go back to Vancouver, Canada?
Yeah.
I mean, Mexico City, if it's not Mexico City, where else can we go? Like, I was talking to Michel Jourdain.
Yep.
Iconic Mexican driver. And 3-4 years ago, I would ask Michel, he's like, nah, Pato's not that well known here. This year, he's like, Pato's really well known here now.
Yeah.
Like, everybody
guy,
here knows
yeah.
Pato. Well, dude, when my dad, maybe at the end of our dad's career, you had Adrian Fernandez, like, you had Michel very, very young. Dominguez, maybe not quite there, but very young. Like,
Oh yeah.
dude, we went to Mexico in 2007 with Mario Dominguez. It was packed.
Yeah.
I mean, packed. And no offense to him, but Mario is not Pato. Like, Pato is consistently a winner. Like, dude, what we have to be there. We have to be there. And then,
completely agree.
to me, you just look at some of these other events. I mean, I hope Nashville can get back to the city streets. I expect the oval race to be pretty good, but you got to be in the core of it all, man. Going down Broadway would have been one of the best things we ever did, whether it was a crappy layout or not. Like front and center,
oval,
man.
But
well, yeah.
But I mean, the street event, for all intents and purposes, yes, I completely agree. I would much rather forego my own happiness and comfort to be completely back on the streets of Nashville, because I thought it's an amazing event.
Yeah.
Which I hope we get to.
Yeah, but I mean, this got to like Pacific Northwest even. Like if Portland doesn't last forever, like where else can we go? Can we do a Seattle street race? Can we get up there somewhere? You got to do it. How about the Northeast? Where can we go? I know weather can be a problem. The Boston thing was unfortunately turned out to be nothing at all. But like, yeah, if you look at the average TV ratings, right? Richmond is always up there. My concern with Richmond, I raced there. I think it'd be kind of a crappy race, but that's just me.
Come on now.
There was no
We
passing.
fixed short oval racing. We got it.
We got it better.
we fixed it.
Got it better, but there was no passing in Richmond. So, I mean, maybe it changes now. But yeah, man, we got to start to touch these different areas. There's no doubt about that.
I was looking at my little app that tracks all my flights like during the year, and it's amazing how I never go east of I never go east. Like there's nothing in New, like I wish there was something in that area, like whether it's Watkins Glen or I honestly, I know Pocono probably would never come back, but like I thought that was a a fun race. But we definitely have to get in that area for sure, because there are plenty of IndyCar fans, plenty of race fans out there as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, it's definitely it's good. So,
all right, I have one very important question too. Where does Will Power go next year?
I mean,
what's going on in there?
Not to us. Not to us.
All right. Is the RLL lineup set for 2026? Is that what? Is that
I mean,
what you're saying?
on paper, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we would love to have Will, and I know everybody saw my comments and was like, "Oh, he's definitely go." No, it's just, dude, I respect the hell out of Will.
Yeah, I do too.
Dude, has there been a better Penske driver over the last few years?
Statistically, probably.
I mean, like statistically, no, and and I think it's super, super impressive. But I don't know, man. I mean, where do you think?
I truly, I mean, the way he talked about it on my show last week, it was almost sad, because the way he says things, he's like, I've had a great career. Like I've been, whether if I'm in it or not, I'm like, dude, no, that's like crazy. I'm like, I'm out here trying to wring people's
He's
necks
in-
to try to get in. But I was
he's
like,
in
you're
it.
going to be in there somewhere.
He's
Yeah.
in there. I don't know. I have a sneaky suspicion it's Andretti.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He hasn't said that
Who
to
gets
me.
the boot?
Oriole hasn't said that to me.
Yeah.
But like,
That's just a feeling.
money is no object for those guys right now.
Yep.
I mean, dude, their driver salaries over there, they're so far above everybody else. Like,
I love it. I
forget
respect
even
it.
Colton, but the other guys, like
Yeah.
Colton's on a different stratosphere, but even everybody else. So, I mean, I just think like they would do. I could be way off base, but like I feel like that's probably the most likely position
Wow.
for him.
We have
McLaren's
seen
not doing anything.
contracts. We have seen contracts maybe get
Shredded?
adjusted. Yeah, shredded or adjusted. Yeah, we have seen that happen in the past.
I mean, I don't know, but I don't. It's not us. I mean, I would love to have Will, because I think our team is on the verge of like really going forward.
Yeah.
And I think Willie, he could really help us in that regard. But it's not us. I mean, so, everybody, I know that's the assumption, but I think we're pretty locked in. Who else? Where else is there?
I don't know. It's hard, man. There's been less silly season talk, I would say, this time of year than I've ever heard. It's kind of everyone's either in or they're just everyone waits on the one seat of where does Will Power go and what happens at Foyt and what happens.
So that's the question is Foyt, right?
Yeah.
Because this whole thing, what people forget, this affects Foyt a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like if David's not there, well then who is? And if David's not there, is the Foyt Penske thing still a thing? Is it not a thing? Who steps up? You gotta say. I know Santino's maybe not everybody's favorite sometimes. Although to me, honestly, he races me. I don't know. We got a good relationship. He races me very fair and square, but like he's done a damn good job. Like you can't say, I mean, lately there's been some struggles, but like early in the year, dude, he had like 10 top 10s in a row or something. I mean,
agreed.
So, I mean, outperformed Malukas for most of the year, you got to say. So I don't know, what happens what happens to him? Is he there? Like, I think, that is definitely a question mark, but yeah, I mean, I think Will's probably 2 weeks away from any of us knowing really what happens. And I hate that for Will too, that he's kind of held back till September because like, it's really unfair as you know, to a driver, like everything's pretty much filled that late.
Yeah.
It's like when you're going to chase an engineer from another team. If they can't make a decision till November, your hands are tied. Like you've got to make a move. You got to move on for the next year because you can't lose those 3 to 4 months. So it's the same. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt Willie P is going to land on his feet. In my eyes, he's going to land on his feet. So
absolutely. I agree. Well,
that's where we're at.
I don't want to take up too much of your morning because I know that you're doing dad stuff and it's important. You're
they
driving
walked
buses
in here
and
about
doing dad
5
stuff.
times, and I'm just like, stop.
I
One
respect
came in
that.
with the full on like crying face. I was waiting for an explosion, but it never happened.
Hey, that's good. We made it happen. Well, I
So-
appreciate you doing this, and
Of course.
yeah, we got 2 ovals, so I know that.
Yeah, be gentle on us now, dog.
Well, yeah,
be gentle
hey,
on us, okay?
I'm excited about it. I know you guys. Hey, you had a decent run at Iowa, right? You guys had some
it
good
got
stuff
better.
going.
Sunday
Yeah,
we
yeah.
struggled, but Saturday we were
Yeah.
better. And hey, man, based on the simulator, we're gonna fly this week. We're gonna
Hey,
be
there you go.
epic. So
The simulator
just-
never
if I-
lies.
yeah, right. Yeah.
The simulator never lies. It's true. All right, man. Well, we appreciate
Bye,
it.
brother.
And I don't know who your sponsor is going to be for the next 2 races, but I'm sure it's going to be something creative and great and maybe different than the last. But yeah, here we go.
Hey, honestly, I don't know either. So
Okay, there you go.
We'll find out. But I know that I was at your sponsor's gas station yesterday, giving you a little love. So
Shout
stay
out
with-
AM PM.
yeah,
Woo!
stay with Connor. Let's keep the man
Yeah.
in the sport.
Let's go. I love that. All right. Graham Rahal said it, so it must be real. Thank you, sir. All right, folks, we appreciate Graham Rahal being on this show. Please let us know what you think about that interview. I thought it was a great one. Just I've known Graham since literally I was a kid, so it's good to talk with him, good to be able to race with him, good to be able to have a full-on motor racing discussion of all kinds of different things. So with that, we're going to get to our favorite segment on the show, the Ricky Treadway Random Indy 500 Driver of the Week.
The greatest event of its kind has never been run on.
Let's meet the drivers. Who will make up the field?
This week, we went to 1971, not that long ago. Well, it is now, but it does sound like, slightly more recent than the 20s and the 30s like we have done recently. Al Unser, Sr., winner of this race, the Johnny Lightning machine, 1971. Peter Rebson, second, AJ Foyt, third, a lot of strong names. We went, however, to the 23rd place finisher, Bentley Warren. Bentley Warren, born December 10th in Maine. He's from Maine. Wow. Kennebuncorp, Maine. Huh. I don't know if I said that right. That's crazy. So best known for racing. Yeah.
Okay.
Best known for racing in the USAC Championship Car Series, and for some New Englanders, even more so for his racing in the super modified wing cars, now called ISMA. I don't know if that's IMSA spelled wrong. I'm just kidding. He raced twice in the Indianapolis 500. That's really, really cool. But East Coast guy, Massachusetts, first win in 1957 in Massachusetts. That's pretty impressive. It looks like he's still alive, which is great news.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. But a big Maine guy from Maine. That's kind of wild. 1970, he had a practice crash. 1971 was his first Indy 500. And then 72, 73, 74, he did not qualify. So tough run. And then 1975, he was able to qualify again. Looks like he got a new chassis for that year. And that was the trick. But both of his Indy 500s, he finished 23rd. So pretty consistent guy, Bentley Warren. Did you find a picture of him?
I do. I have like a picture of him when he's young racing. I have one when he's old too. He's got like a headband on. He's got a beer in hand, just hanging out with a lady. Looks kind of like he was at like a local bar, like maybe like a Grateful Dead cover band.
Okay,
was playing. I was gonna say though, like the name Bentley is strong. I don't know if you know many people named Bentley. There was
I do not.
One. You don't? Okay.
I knew a dog named Bentley once. That was it.
Yeah, well, there was one kid I knew named Bentley when I was coming up in elementary school, and he was kind of a heftier set kid. He wore a chain, and he would steal rolls at lunchtime. So he kind of had like that swagger, like give me your roll, I'll punch you. So that's how we knew Bentley. So I don't know if this guy quite has that energy, but I will say he looks like a great guy and a great Bentley. So
shout out Bentley Warren, our random Indy 500 driver of the week. That's cool. Well, thank you for listening to this show. We will be back next week, obviously, to talk about Milwaukee and to preview Nashville. I'm going to be on the simulator next Tuesday, so I'm probably going to have to do the show from the simulator once again, but there should be a lot to talk about. So very, very excited about that. Please let us know what you think. And yeah, we appreciate you guys listening, as always. Thank you so much. Hey everyone, Connor Daly here. Please leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and also subscribe to the channel as well. That would be very helpful. Be a friend, tell a friend. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll see you on the next episode of Speed Street.